I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly.
These are all sound drops, by the way. I got to save all of this. These are all fantastic.
You're going to look so hot.
Why is he doing this?
Perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me. End quote.
The way he looks forward as he's reading this quote too is just so creepy to me. Like he made eye contact with who he was.
I think he's enjoying it. I think this is his way of finally like coming out, but without being like really public about it. I think he's closeted. That's my opinion.
I agree. I agree with you.
Okay,
why else would you be doing this?
You can talk about how this book is bad, it should be banned, I think it's inappropriate for kids without reading that part. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it.
It's not even like
things in this book, period. You could just say that there were things that talked about X, Y, and Z. You didn't have to go in and read that. But I think that he felt like this was the moment that he can be in a place that made him comfortable inside.
Lance, have you seen that
part
clip?
Of him.
Which one?
We just watched it. You have to see it it's of Kennedy.
I think you've seen it.
This one where he's reading from Genderqueer. If
not,
I
haven't.
Lance has to see it.
Oh, we can play it again.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo.
It's like he's reading
perfectly.
A Bible verse.
You're going to look so hot.
Yeah, Ezekiel 4:25.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life.
Why would y'all play
want
this
you inside of me?
Those eyes, that's so creepy.
Okay, just so everyone knows, because I've actually read the book, and it's about an asexual person discovering their asexuality. They're a non-binary asexual person. That's what the book's about. It's every conservative's favorite go-to for this is the porn that's in schools when that's the purpose, and that scene accentuates that person's journey. You know, like that's what the book's about. The scariest book of all that every single conservative loves saying, like, this is child porn for kids and stuff. That's what it is. It's like,
there are books that. There are movies and books. I mean, for me, as if
Twilight,
I were
right?
Yeah, Twilight was.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
There are movies that suggest all of the things he just talked about, and I think it's important for people to like absorb other experiences, like learn and grow, and like read about this. Like this isn't offensive at all. It's just funny seeing an old man read this. Like that's
yeah.
Now, what grade are the kids? What schools are these books in? Like, where are we with that?
I believe it's late teens,
right? Yeah,
I think it's late teens. That's what the author, I believe, even said. It's for like older kids, like it's
high school,
post puberty. Like
okay,
it's meant to be like a sex ed,
like 11, 10-year-old, having to read that, or it doesn't have to be about that. It could be about what I've read. I've read some crazy stuff in school in these books, and if my mama, who didn't speak English, knew what I was reading, she wouldn't have it. But
look at you now. If you were sheltered from reading that stuff, maybe you would be less aware, less, I don't know, mature. Like
that's what the data shows.
Yeah, like
I was sheltered from all
ideas
of this
that may seem. You want
to know one of the most perverse and dark books I ever read? The Bible. The Bible's got a lot of shit in it. Like, god damn, there's so much incest, so much fucking incest and rape and slavery and stuff like the
and just
genocide,
mass murder,
massacres and mass murders and genocides and plagues.
Like I had the Noah's Ark book, like a separate Noah's Ark book when I was 8. And it was still, as a kid, it's like, okay, so everybody has to get into this boat, I guess, including dinosaurs. And God's going to kill everyone.
And
like,
beetles.
Is God's really going to kill everyone, including the babies? And I remember I asked my parents this. I'm like, is he killing the babies too? And they're well, I'm like, God's going to kill the babies?
Drowning the babies, Mike. Drowning the babies. Come on.
Yeah.
See, I was raised Catholic,
those are good questions that kids, should ask, especially when reading those type of books. But I will say, how old was I? Like 13. I think it was my first year in high school. I went a little early. I was probably 12. I don't know. But I was reading. No, we watched this movie. First, we had to read the book, and then we watched this movie. And I'm raised Christian, and also as a female, a girl in a Haitian household, we call it l'école, la caille, l'église. That means you go home, school, and church. You don't do anything else. You're kind of on like this lockdown because they don't want you to like get involved, pregnant, or they're just in their mind. Me and my mama had her first baby at 16. It's crazy. Grandmother, first baby at 16.
It never works. It never works.
Crazy. But that's how a lot of Haitian girls, they're like literally like taken in, and they're supposed to be made to like cook and created to do like girl things, womanly things. And I didn't care about that kind of stuff. But in school, they had showed us this movie, and it was like a Romeo and Juliet type of thing. The book was a little strange to me, but the teacher made us write about the sex portion, but not in a way, but like what we thought about it, what it made us feel like. Were we uncomfortable? She let us write it out. And then when in the movie, when we had to watch it, I'm like, I don't know. Are we supposed to be watching this? Like, but we didn't get any consent forms to go home or anything. We just watched it. But I at that age, I think we should start learning about sex. We had sexual education courses. I think like what's his name Ron DeSantis is trying to take that out of schools, especially when kids can get this stuff online. Like they can see anything. My 9-year-old niece, who's now 10, was with me for a couple of days, and she's addicted to YouTube, also TikTok. And she was swiping through, and I saw a lot of things. I said, girl, now what we looking at? Then I had my nephew, who was about 8 years old. He was looking through, and it was ladies in lingerie. This is all over TikTok. He's on TikTok, and that's all over his TikTok page. So he's been watching that and looking at that. So I had to have a talk with him about that too. But like kids are going to, especially now, kids have access to, even if the schools are going to try to take them out by books or whatever, it's everywhere. So I think parents should have the conversation. And if you don't want your kid learning that in school, take them out of school, put them in somewhere else. There are other ways. The homeschool, do whatever you need to do. But
don't homeschool your kids. I was homeschooled. It was a disaster.
Oh, you were homeschooled.
You were homeschooled?
It was a disaster.
Your whole life?
No.
Like you never went to
middle school on, I was homeschooled because I got into trouble.
Oh.
I was nearly expelled. So, and my parents were very religious. And my parents decided to take me out and homeschool me. And both of my parents did not have the qualifications to do that. Neither of them graduated high school. They tried. I was also very rebellious in the sense that I refused to do any of the work. I just wanted to play video games. So when I started college, I was very far behind. Very far behind.
How do you qualify for college with being homeschooled? How does that work?
So I had to. Well, you have in Oregon.
You got 100 in all of his tests.
So here's the thing. The regulations are very lax, right? So all that I had to do was pass a couple of standardized tests each year, but I studied for like a week, and then I would pass like a couple out of the 3 or 4, and then always fail math, but then that would be sufficient, so I would stay in. But I had to get my GED in order to get into college, and then I had to start literally day one was like math at the elementary level, like literally where they're like 1 + 1 is 2, and I'm like, oh my god. What have I done all these years that it's going to take to make up for all of this? And I was the first person in my whole family to go to college. So like I was like, oh my god, is this for me? Am I going to be able to even survive? Am I too stupid? I'm very, very like against homeschool. Yeah, just from personal experience. Now I love my parents. They tried really hard, but I mean, you can't guarantee that structure in the household like you can at school. So that's kind of my home.
That's a rough combo right there. I'm the first in my family to graduate from college. Also, I was homeschooled. Oh no.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. I got a very, very delayed start in life. So yeah.
But speaking
and was
of,
sheltered, no sexual things. So I had to learn a lot of that from the internet. So my view of human sexuality and stuff was very warped, so.
No, same. Like, knowing my mom, and shout out to my mom, I love you, mean it. She ain't watching this, she wouldn't understand a word. But and my grandmother, same thing. Like the women in my family, a lot of them had children early, and which isn't a bad thing, but because of their circumstance. Everybody's from Haiti, and so that was circumstantial. So when they came here, for them, a lot of Haitian American kids especially girls growing up, they try to instill into us how to raise Haitian girls, but then at the same time shelter us so that we didn't do what they did. And that was like, you can't go anywhere. You would have to literally go, and it had a reverse effect on a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends, because we moved into an area where a lot of Haitians came and moved. So, and where I lived in South Florida, it was like the Caribbean. It's like the Caribbean over there. So, but a lot of the girls ended up finding about sex in different ways. Older men at the school would come pick them up, and some of my friends became pregnant during school. A few of them, some of them thought having a baby was the way out, and things of that sort. So it definitely had a big reverse effect in my generation of friends and Haitian American girls that I went to school with. They don't really teach the men how to work, with their hands and things like that. But other than that, it's not, hey, make sure you don't bring a baby home. No, it's the girls got to stay home and protect themselves. And it's funny because then when we get to a certain age, now it's like, now why you ain't got no man? Why you ain't got no kids? Like, what are we doing here? When are you going to get married? And it's like, girl, you had me sheltered up for so long. When I finally did experience, it was traumatic. And then now it's like, now I'm having to balance out. Like, yeah, I don't think that's right for me right now. Or I'm protecting myself from mama, chill. But it's crazy. So
do you have any siblings, Rebecca?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any siblings?
Oh, yes, I do. I have a sister and 3 brothers. And the way that my 3 brothers are written now, me and my sister, no kids. My 3 brothers all got kids. Got kids. My youngest and my oldest brothers have children. And my sister and I, we don't have kids yet. And that's by choice, right? I talked about this too. A lot of the things that I did, when I had sex late in life. And then when I did, I got pregnant and I chose not to have the child. These are all things that are against anything that I was taught to stand for or whatever the case may be. But this is all things that I had to learn later in my life. And as you said, Mike, it may have been honestly because I was so sheltered. And I wish I had those conversations with my mom who thought she was doing the right thing at the time, but it just didn't happen that way. So I will be different with my children for sure.
Yeah. I think just honesty and openness and like trying to teach your kids and prepare them for the world is so important compared to like the sheltered approach where your parents don't tell you anything and they don't have the sex talks with you. I was a little bit lucky because, I went to a really good public school in North Portland growing up in elementary school, and they did teach sex ed in 5th grade, which was good because I got a teeny tiny bit, but still wasn't prepared for the world when I turned 18 and whatnot. So yeah, sheltering your kids, it's never, ever going to work. Not only are you making them purposefully uninformed and unprepared for the real world, but you're also putting in this like rebellious instinct in them, because if you keep things away from them, they're going to want to seek it out even more. It's the same with me, right? Like I couldn't play with certain video games and whatnot, and that made me want to seek it out more, right? And once that whole, well, if you do this, you're going to go to hell, started to fade away, and I'm like, oh, fuck off. Then like I went through a bad phase, not like a bad phase, but just like a phase where I wanted to go be rebellious and like, seek out all the things that was withheld from me.
Yeah. No, that's exactly that's how I did it. And, I would say I made some mistakes, but there's no regret. And I say this too, even with religion, I'm Christian, but the way that I always say I had to get Jesus for myself. It doesn't look like how my parents, you just get it for yourself, whatever looks right for me and how it works for me. And that's just what that is. And I had to tell my mama that, like, girl, over religious, like sometimes, and people can look at me like, how are you this? And you dress like this and you do that. Cause I do. And it works for me. And that's
because you're an adult, you get to decide.
Yeah.
I get to decide. So
yeah.
Oh,
Matt,
I dropped
I
something in
you
the
had
chat.
something you wanted to say.
Yes, Matt did.
Yes, Matt.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about John Kennedy. I know that was a while ago now, even though that was a discussion. But if you go into the chat there, grab that link. You guys know John Kennedy puts on a fake accent, right?
What's that? Oh, that old Southern accent that he was giving.
That's
not
a real. That's
he's
been doing that.
I didn't know
He's been doing that accent for years now, ever since he got.
He always seemed really fake to me, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
That accent's fake. Look, play that clip one more time. Play the old clip one more time so people can remember what they just heard. Like, play just a second of him
So
talking
now we
about...
gotta listen to Strap On.
Very briefly, very briefly.
Wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going
Deal
to give
now.
you the blowjob of your
Life.
This is
life.
ridiculous.
Then I want you
Penetrate.
inside of me.
Call me Simon
Okay.
Pegg.
There's that.
So
that
there's his
favorite
foghorn
male
leghorn
now.
voice.
so what year is this? 2004? Okay.
You gotta switch, David.
What?
You gotta
Oh,
switch
shit.
the...
I was listening to
So
it.
he's putting on
It,
the
sound,
racist.
it
this is
sounds
racist
similar to
accent.
me.
Wow, he looks exactly the
Same
same.
course
I
of
can't-
action.
I-
You can do it all over again.
John Kennedy, you have 30 seconds.
Well, to answer your question, I think clearly
He does not sound the same
we
at
sent
all.
in enough troops to win the war. We
No,
emphasized
he's giving me
technology,
racist white.
but we didn't send in enough
big white
troops initially to
home in
restore the
middle of some
country.
Southern.
He's still got the accent.
He got the accent.
It's not
I
as
think he
pronounced,
I think
maybe.
the older he got, the more he let himself
Yeah.
go. And
Get into the
back-
southern drawl.
I think he's playing it up, but I
doing
think he
a
still
fake
has it.
accent.
I need to hear him say
Our
deal
problem
now
was,
to
not having an
decide.
exit
Oh, he
strategy.
says words that start with W.
Strike.
Yogi
bound.
Berra used to say, if you don't know where you're going when you get there, you'll be lost. We did not have an exit strategy. What we need to do...
Oh, that strategy. That was a little.
there's-
That
No,
one.
he
That's
has
what
the
I'm
same
saying.
accent. No, he has the
Let
same accent.
the people of
older he
Iraq
got, he
choose their
became-
leadership, write their own constitution. We went to Iraq to make those folks free, not to make them Americans. That would be a victory for America, in my opinion.
Arthur Morrell.
I hear different...
I think he
I
plays
hear
it up,
different.
but I still hear it there.
I'm not saying there's no accent at all. The guy's from Louisiana, but he's definitely not the foghorn, leghorn.
Oh, he's from
I'm
yeah,
a
he
good old
has
boy
the-
from down
Well,
south.
no,
Yeah,
isn't
no.
he? Didn't he go to like Harvard or something? Like this guy.
Yeah,
he's
They
yeah,
said that.
yeah,
He's
he's like
Ivy League.
elitist. Like,
Yeah.
but he plays this like everyman. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I
know
guess
other
no one
people
else
do
heard
that
it.
too.
Maybe it's just my ears.
It's
It's
just
ears.
I think he's emphasizing it more now than he did back then.
No, he's letting it go now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
Like he's
that's
not
fair.
allowing it to just
Mhm.
come on out and be that racist. That's that good racist white. Just what you doing around here, boy? Like every W has the H in the beginning, and so you're like, yeah, he's being himself now. You know, when they get old, they like to let it all go.
Penis and balls,
vagina,
penis and balls,
vagina,
p-word and balls,
vagina,
p-word and balls,
vagina,
ass,
cum,
ass,
cum,
ass,
cum, vagina,
She stroked my face with the
vagina,
She stroked my
penis and balls.